imports. I'm the mashgiach here in the supermarket. I take care of primarily the meat section, but I also go around and make sure everything else is taken care of properly, according to the high standards that the Vat of Queens requires. We get the delivery directly from the place that slaughters it, that shechs it. I check every piece of meat, make sure it passes its standards. If it passes those standards, then we will start to work on it. We begin the process of nikur, which is removing these veins. It entails breaking down the meat. In order that we should get to these veins, in Hebrew it's called gidim, the veins that have dam, that have blood. We're not allowed to eat any blood. So taking out the veins, then we can soak the meat, because there's blood inside the meat besides the veins that we removed that we cannot eat either. So in order to allow us to eat this meat, we have to soak it for half an hour. It goes into the tanks, clean tanks with water, and it'll be completely submerged. Shouldn't be any traces of blood on the meat. After it sits in the tank for 1/2 hour, then it gets removed. If there's still any blood, it gets rinsed, washed down, wiped away. Melicha, which is salting the meat. In order to remove the blood, we have to salt it. It has to be salted completely all over. Special salt that's used is called Kosher salt, which is an extra coarse flake, which is flat, which will stay on the meat. If it's too thin, it will dissolve right away. If it's too thick, it will bounce off. It stays in the salt for 1 hour and has to be separate, of course, from the kosher-made meat that we have in the refrigerator from before, because this is not yet kosher. Then after an hour's passed that it's in the salt, then it gets rinsed down very well with a power wash. And then we put in a tank with clean water. It gets submerged in there, taken out twice, dunked and rinsed twice. Another rinse, then we're ready to sell it as glatt kosher, fresh meat.
Many rumors exist about Jewish dietary laws. I've invited Elchanan, an observant Jew, to clarify things.
Just like Islam, where food must be halal, Judaism requires its food to be kosher.
So basically, a rabbi needs to circumcise the animals you eat, right?
Well, not really. We actually have a very long and detailed set of rules specifying which animals we can eat and which we can't.
Is camel kosher?
No.
How about horse?
Absolutely not.
Octopus?
Wait, octopus or squid?
Octopus.
No.
And squid?
No, that's forbidden too. The Torah, our holy scripture, tells us which animals are impure and cannot be eaten, and which animals are pure and can. To be considered kosher, an animal must chew its cud and have a split hoof.
What about seafood? A verse in the Quran says, "Lawful to you is all water game, and what the sea brings forth." Meaning, all seafood is halal for Muslims.
Kosher fish must have fins and scales, and birds of prey are never kosher.
Hey, we don't eat birds of prey either. Okay, everyone knows that like us, you can't eat pork. But how do you prepare the animal? Do you slaughter it like us, or just kill it however you like?
Well, like Muslims, Jews slaughter the animal with a sharp knife to minimize its suffering and say a special blessing.
All right, some of this is quite similar to our Muslim laws, but I've also heard something about mixing meat and milk.
The Torah forbids us to cook and eat meat and milk together, or even profit from them. That's based on the verse, "Thou shalt not cook a kid in its mother's milk."
And I bet you've taken that even further, so that when you eat meat, you're forbidden to even see milk for 2 days.
Well, we haven't gone that far, but there are many laws stemming from the prohibition of meat and milk. We separate our meat and dairy dishes, and even wait a few hours after eating meat before we can eat dairy products.
Oh well, I guess you won't be inviting me over for lamb and yogurt anytime soon.
No, I won't. But you're always welcome to some delicious gefilte fish.
Thanks, but I'm fasting.
The immune system mistakenly identifies a specific protein in food as a pathogen. harmful, or as something that may cause disease. To respond to this, the immune system produces antibodies to attack this protein. When even the smallest amount of that food is eaten again, the antibodies are ready and signal the immune system to release a chemical known as histamine, as well as other chemicals into the bloodstream. Histamine and these other chemicals cause the symptoms of food allergy. The most common food allergies, which account for about 90% of all food allergies, often referred to as the Big Eight, are milk, eggs, peanuts or ground nuts, tree nuts including walnuts, almonds, Brazil nuts, cashews, seafood, shellfish including shrimp, mussels, and crab, soy, wheat. Other foods containing allergenic proteins include fruits, vegetables, maize, and spices. Risk factors include family history, age of food allergy, IgE-mediated or non-IgE-mediated. IgE-mediated is the most common type. In this type, the immunoglobulin E, or IgE antibody, is released by your immune system to fight the threat. In the non-IgE-mediated type, IgE antibodies are not released, and other parts of the immune system are used to fight the perceived threat. Causes, referred to as anaphylaxis. This reaction usually involves more than one part of the body, can impair breathing, cause a dramatic drop in blood pressure, and affect heart rate. To provide the right chance for improvement and prevent serious, potentially life-threatening is food allergy. Food allergy is an abnormal immune system reaction to food. Even exposure to very small amounts of allergy-causing food can trigger signs and symptoms associated with the condition. Food that causes allergic reactions are called allergens. Sometimes allergy symptoms are mild. Other times they are severe. All allergic symptoms should be taken seriously.
Hotel das Essen. Und wir sagen
Is treif or impure. Eggs are parve or neutral. They can be eaten together with either meat or dairy. Even so, they need to be checked by Mashgiach Zaman Zizov. He's the rabbi's right-hand man.
jetzt wir gucken, dass kein Blut ist. Manchmal gibt es ein Blut, ja.
The items that are brought are kosher, either from a factory that have a kosher certificate, and certain items they don't need a kosher certificate. Let's say oil, and vinegar, and sugar, and salt. There are many items of fish that we know that it has skins and scales, but meat and chicken will always
Ohel
be.
Jakob Synagogue in downtown Munich is the city's only kosher restaurant. The Einstein is under the constant supervision of Rabbi Shmuel Aaron Brodman, a native of the Netherlands. He looks in regularly to make sure the food is prepared according to the Jewish dietary laws, the kashrut.
My job is to make sure that all the items that are brought are kosher, either from a factory.
Claimed chicken meat contains a lectin that attacks the bloodstream and can cause type B individuals to have strokes or develop immune system disorders. Blood type B individuals should avoid all wheat, corn, barley, bulgur, rye, and buckwheat products, but should not eat any nuts, lentils, blue cheese, pork products, shellfish or chicken, like salmon, sea trout, cod, halibut, and mackerel, dairy products like skim or 2% milk, yogurt, cottage cheese, and mozzarella cheese, and beans, especially kidney, navy, or lima beans. People with type B blood can eat foods like beef, turkey, chicken.
Kosher. All meat and dairy utensils must be kept separate, so there is no accidental mixing of the two. There's a lot more to kosher and understanding it, and
Animal protein. You can take animal products like lamb, beef, and turkey. Nuts. You should include almonds, Brazil nuts, chestnuts, and walnuts in your diet. In grains and cereals, millets, oats, rice, and granola are the best for you. You should take soy products, whole milk, natural butter, buttermilk, cottage cheese, and other cheese like ricotta, feta, and mozzarella. Most of the vegetables are beneficial for you, such as beets, broccoli, eggplant, mushrooms, peppers, sprouts, sweet potato, parsley. For beverages, green tea, coffee, wine, and beer are the most beneficial for you. Most importantly, the foods that might aid your weight loss if you are blood type B are green tea, eggs, and green leafy vegetables.
Both fins and scales to be kosher. Scavenger fish are not kosher. Next
Can
part.
have most dairy products, except some of them which are American cheese, and most importantly, avoid the ice creams. For nuts, cashews, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, and peanuts should be avoided. For breads and muffins, you should avoid bagels, corn, multigrain breads, rye, and wheat. Vegetables and fruits. Although many vegetables are well tolerated with people of blood type B, but there are some vegetables that you should avoid, and those are corn, olives, pumpkin, tomato, radish, and avocados. For beverages, you should avoid liquor, sparkling waters, and sodas. Now let's discuss of foods that you should take if you are of blood type B.
If you belong to the B blood group, Darmo claims you are directly descended from ancient steppe dwellers in Mongolia. Whether you have B negative or B positive blood, according to Darmo, the Rh factor that determines negative or positive blood is not affected by food. Darmo says your blood will be incompatible with the lectin compounds in foods that your ancestors did not eat, resulting in poor health and weight gain.
Types of animals that can be eaten, and also what parts of the animal can be eaten. It is written in the Torah, any animal that chews the cud and has a cloven hoof is kosher. Cows, sheep, goats, and deer are kosher. Pigs are not kosher. It is forbidden to eat birds of prey.
Foods that you should avoid if you are of blood type B. Firstly, animal protein. Bacon, chicken, duck, ham, and pork should be avoided if you are of blood type B. Have a greater ability to adjust and adapt to different kinds of foods. And blood type B is statistically the best blood type.